Ladies, let's dive deep today. Have you ever felt like the concept of true love has been wrapped up in fairy tales, filtered selfies, and fleeting emotions? We've all been there, searching for the one but ending up with someone who only knows how to love the version of us we put on display. Sound familiar? If so, this video isn't just for you, it's about you. You see, love isn't about grand gestures or perfectly crafted moments. No, the man who loves you the most isn't the one who writes poetry on your Instagram or whispers empty promises. He's the one who shows up with truth, strength, and action. He's the one who changes everything, not because he completes you, but because he helps you realize you've always been whole. But here's the real question. How do you recognize him when he appears? What separates the man who loves you deeply from the man who loves you casually? The answer may surprise you, and it all starts with what he does. Not what he says, not what he posts, but what he truly does. In this video, I'm about to share 8 transformative signs of a man's love. These aren't superficial traits or quick fixes, they are deep, raw, and real indicators of the kind of love that lasts a lifetime. Stay with me because by the end, you'll not only know how to spot this kind of love, but also understand how it aligns with Stoic dating principles and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Ready to uncover the truth? Let's go! 1. He helps you grow through honesty. Honesty, how does that word make you feel? For some, it's comforting, but for others, it's a bit intimidating. After all, we've all been hurt by people who claim to be brutally honest when really, they were just brutal. But the man who truly loves you, his honesty doesn't tear you down, it builds you up. Imagine this. You're in the middle of sharing your dreams, fears, or even a mistake you've made, and instead of glossing over it or pretending it doesn't matter, he looks at you with those steady, unwavering eyes and says, "I see your potential, but here's what I think can help you grow." How does that feel? Scary? Vulnerable? Yes, but also deeply validating. This man doesn't tell you the truth to win points or sound smart. He tells you the truth because he believes in you. He wants you to shine. And here's the kicker, he's not afraid to call you out when you're standing in your own way. He knows that the strongest relationships are built on a foundation of trust, not just comfort. Now, let's pause for a second. Are you ready for that kind of honesty? Are you prepared to hear truths that push you to confront your own insecurities, doubts, and habits? Because let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. But when you embrace it, it's transformative. Think about how Stoicism approaches relationships. Stoic dating isn't about emotional highs and lows. It's about steady, intentional growth. A man who practices Stoicism will see the bigger picture in your partnership. He'll focus on helping you align with your highest self, not just indulging in fleeting pleasures or superficial compliments. Let's say you're venting about a rough day at work. Most people might nod and sympathize, but this man, he listens deeply, validates your feelings, and then gently challenges you. Maybe he says, "What's one thing you can do differently tomorrow to feel more in control?" It's not dismissive, it's empowering. Here's the beauty of it. This honesty creates a safe space for you to be honest too. You don't feel the need to hide behind a mask of perfection because he's already shown you that he loves the real you, the one with flaws, dreams, and everything in between. Now, let me ask you something. How often do you let someone's words truly sink in? Do you listen to understand, or do you listen to defend? Because a man who loves you enough to tell you the truth deserves a woman who's ready to hear it. Think about it this way. His honesty isn't just about you, it's about us. Every time he shares a truth, no matter how small, he's investing in your relationship. He's saying, "I believe in us enough to face the hard stuff together." And isn't that what love is all about? Here's your takeaway. The man who loves you the most won't sugarcoat life or let you settle for mediocrity. He'll challenge you, guide you, and hold you accountable. Not because he's trying to change you, but because he sees your potential and refuses to let you shrink. So, now it's your turn. What does honesty look like in your relationships? Have you ever been with someone who truly challenged you in a way that felt like growth? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And don't go anywhere, because in the next part, we're diving into the next sign of deep love: authenticity. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. 2. He celebrates your authenticity. Authenticity, it's a word we throw around a lot these days, but have you ever stopped to think about what it truly means? To be authentic isn't just about showing up as yourself, it's about showing up without fear. It's about peeling back the layers of societal expectations, insecurities, and masks to reveal the raw, unfiltered version of who you are. And the man who loves you the most, he celebrates that version of you, the one that's completely and unapologetically real. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you've had a long day. Your makeup is smudged, your hair's a mess, and you're lounging in sweatpants that should have been retired years ago. You glance at yourself in the mirror and think, this is not my best look. But then he walks in, sees you exactly as you are, and smiles like you're the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. Because to him, you are. This man doesn't love the Instagram filtered version of you. He doesn't fall for the highlight reel. No, he falls for the woman who laughs so hard she snorts, who cries during cheesy commercials, who dances offbeat in the kitchen when her favorite song comes on. He loves the woman who is real in every sense of the word, flaws, quirks, and all. But here's the twist. Celebrating your authenticity isn't just about how he sees you. It's about how he encourages you to see yourself. He doesn't want you to hide behind perfection or pretend to be something you're not. He wants you to embrace your individuality, to own it like the queen you are. And you know what? That kind of love is rare. In a world where so much value is placed on appearances, finding someone who loves the real you is like finding a diamond in a sea of rhinestones. So, let me ask you, are you with someone who makes you feel like you can be yourself? Truly, fully yourself? Let's bring in a little stoicism here. Stoic dating teaches us that we should value what's within over what's external. The man who practices stoicism doesn't focus on the surface. He doesn't care about how perfect your contour is or how many likes your selfie got. Instead, he values your character, your depth, your heart. Because to him, that's where your true beauty lies. Think about it. Have you ever felt like you had to put on a performance in past relationships? Maybe you acted a certain way, laughed a little louder, or dressed a little differently to fit into someone else's mold. How exhausting was that? With the man who truly loves you, you'll never have to wear a mask. You'll never have to shrink yourself or dim your light to make him comfortable. He'll celebrate every single part of you, from the way you speak your mind to the way you sometimes get lost in your own thoughts. Here's a moment of reflection. Are you allowing yourself to be authentic, or are you hiding parts of yourself out of fear of rejection? Because the truth is, when you find the man who loves you for who you truly are, rejection isn't even on the table. He doesn't want the polished, perfect version of you. He wants the real, raw, unfiltered you. And let me tell you something else. This doesn't mean he'll love everything about you without question. There will be quirks and habits he doesn't fully understand or even agree with. But here's the difference. He'll still love you because he knows that those quirks and habits are part of what makes you, you. And isn't that what we all crave? To be seen, accepted, and loved exactly as we are. Here's your reminder, ladies. Stop striving for perfection and start striving for authenticity. Perfection is fleeting, but authenticity, that's magnetic. It's the secret ingredient that makes you unforgettable. And the man who sees that, who celebrates that, is worth holding on to. Now, before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're feeling this message, if you're nodding along thinking, yes, this is exactly what I needed to hear, then hit that like button right now. Let's see how many of you are ready to embrace your authenticity. And while you're at it, drop a comment with the words number 1 to show that you're loving this video so far. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, we're just getting started. There's so much more to uncover about the kind of love you deserve, and you don't want to miss a single moment. Hit that subscribe button and join this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Together, we're rewriting the rules of love, one step at a time. Stay tuned, because next we're diving into an even deeper layer of connection, one that goes beyond words and taps into something truly extraordinary. You won't want to miss it. Let's keep going. 3. He understands you without words. Have you ever felt like someone truly sees you? Not just the way you look or the things you say, but the emotions you don't even realize you're showing. That's the kind of connection we're talking about here, a bond so deep, so intuitive, that words become almost unnecessary. The man who loves you the most understands you on a level that feels almost magical. But make no mistake, it's not magic. It's love in its purest form. Picture this. It's been one of those days. You're drained, your energy is low, and even the smallest tasks feel overwhelming. You pick up your phone to text him, but can't quite put your feelings into words. Before you even hit send, he calls. "Hey," he says gently, "I had a feeling you might need to talk." How does that feel? Like a lifeline, right? That's what it's like to be with a man who understands you without words. He doesn't need you to spell everything out because he's tuned into you, your energy, your mood, even the subtle changes in the way you text or speak. It's not about him being a mind reader. It's about him being deeply attentive and emotionally connected. He pays attention to the little things because to him, they're not little at all. This level of understanding goes beyond casual affection. It's rooted in empathy, in his ability to step into your shoes and feel what you're feeling without you having to explain it. Think about how rare and special that is. How many times have you felt misunderstood, like no one really gets what you're going through? Now imagine being with someone who just knows. That's the kind of love that transforms you. Here's the thing. This isn't about perfection or always getting it right. He won't always know exactly what you're feeling. He's human, after all. But the difference with this man is that he makes the effort to understand. He doesn't brush off your emotions or dismiss your feelings as too much. Instead, he leans in, listens, and tries to connect with what's really going on beneath the surface. Let's tie this back to Stoicism for a moment. In Stoic Dating, the focus is on emotional stability and resilience. A man who understands you without words practices a form of Stoicism by remaining calm and grounded even when emotions run high. He doesn't react impulsively or let his own feelings cloud his ability to support you. Instead, he becomes a steady presence, someone you can rely on no matter what. For example, let's say you're upset about something at work. Instead of rushing to fix the problem or dismissing it as unimportant, he listens, truly listens. Maybe he doesn't have all the answers, but that's not the point. The point is that he makes you feel heard and understood. And sometimes that's all you really need. But it's not just about the heavy moments. This understanding shows up in the lighthearted times too. Maybe you're laughing about an inside joke or sharing a silly story, and he finishes your sentence or knows exactly what you're going to say before you even say it. Those moments of effortless connection are just as meaningful as the serious ones. They remind you that you're not just loved, you're seen. This level of connection doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and mutual effort to build. But when you find it, it feels like coming home. It's a kind of intimacy that transcends physical attraction or surface-level chemistry. It's about being known deeply and completely and still being loved for exactly who you are. Now, let's be honest. This kind of understanding can feel a little intimidating at first. Being seen so clearly can make you feel vulnerable, exposed. But here's the beauty of it. With this man, vulnerability isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. He doesn't use your openness against you or make you feel weak for showing your true self. Instead, he honors it. He sees your vulnerability as a strength, a testament to your courage and authenticity. So, let me ask you, have you ever experienced this kind of connection? A relationship where words felt almost optional because the bond between you was so strong? If not, don't worry, it's out there. And when you find it, you'll wonder how you ever settled for anything less. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The man who loves you the most isn't just someone who listens to your words. He's someone who listens to your silences. He pays attention to the things you don't say, the emotions you try to hide, and the moments when you need support the most but don't know how to ask for it. That's what true love looks like. Stay with me, because the next layer of love we're exploring is one that goes beyond even the deepest connection. It's about celebrating the essence of who you are in ways that make you feel seen, valued, and irreplaceable. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's keep going. 4. He shares life's imperfect moments. Let's talk about perfection, or rather, the illusion of it. In a world that's obsessed with flawless selfies, curated feeds, and perfectly posed moments, finding someone who loves you in the messy, unpredictable chaos of real life feels like discovering treasure. The man who loves you the most isn't waiting for the perfect moment to love you. He's showing up, fully and wholeheartedly, in the imperfect ones. Think about it. Life is messy. It's unpredictable. There are days when nothing goes as planned, when the universe seems to conspire against you, and all you want to do is hide under the covers. And it's in those moments that his love shines the brightest. He doesn't just stand by you when things are picture perfect, he stands by you when they're anything but. Imagine this. You're rushing through your day, spilling coffee on your shirt, tripping over your own shoes, and arriving late to an appointment you've been dreading. It's one of those days where you feel like you just can't win, and then he texts you. Nothing elaborate, just a simple, "I hope your day gets better. I believe in you." Suddenly, it feels like you can breathe again. This man doesn't wait for the perfect time to love you. He doesn't need the backdrop of a sunset or the soundtrack of a romantic playlist to show you how much he cares. He loves you when your hair's a mess, when you're venting about work, and when you're struggling to find your way. He's there in the little unglamorous moments, the ones that most people overlook. And here's the thing, he doesn't just tolerate life's imperfections, he embraces them. He knows that the beauty of a relationship isn't in its Instagram-worthy highlights, but in its raw, unfiltered reality. The way you both laugh at the ridiculous things, the way he helps you clean up the messes, the way he holds you when you feel like falling apart, that's where the magic is. This kind of love is powerful because it's rooted in acceptance. He doesn't expect you to be perfect. He doesn't want you to be perfect. He just wants you to be you, the real, messy, complicated, wonderful you. And in return, he shows you his own imperfections, the things he's still working on, the flaws he's learning to embrace. Together, you create a space where it's safe to be human, where it's okay to stumble and grow. Let's take a moment to connect this to Stoic dating and the wisdom of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of the rest. The man who loves you in life's imperfect moments embodies this principle. He doesn't dwell on the things that go wrong. Instead, he focuses on how to navigate them with grace and resilience. He reminds you that it's not about avoiding life's challenges, but about facing them together. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. How often do we get caught up in chasing perfection? How many times have you scrolled through social media, comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel, and felt like you were falling short? Here's the truth. Perfect moments are fleeting, but imperfect ones are where real love lives. The kind of love that doesn't demand a flawless performance but celebrates the authenticity of life in all its chaos. This man doesn't need a picture-perfect dinner date to enjoy your company. He's just as happy sitting on the couch with you, eating takeout and talking about your day. He doesn't need grand gestures or elaborate plans to show his love. Instead, he shows it in the way he holds your hand when you're nervous, the way he listens when you need to vent, and the way he makes you laugh when you feel like crying. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you let someone see you in your messy, imperfect moments? Are you with someone who loves you through the ups and downs, or are you still chasing a love that only shows up when everything's perfect? Think about it, because the answer to that question can change everything. Before we move on, I want to hear from you. If this message resonates with you, if you're nodding along thinking, yes, this is the kind of love I want, the kind of love I deserve, then hit that like button right now. And don't forget to drop a comment with the words number 1 to let me know you're loving this video so far. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're building a community where we celebrate real, meaningful connections, not just the glossy, surface-level kind, but the deep, transformative kind that changes lives. Subscribe now and let's keep growing together. Stay tuned, because what's coming next will take us even deeper into the kind of love that's not just rare but truly life-changing. Let's keep going. You don't want to miss what's next. 5. He inspires positive change in you. Let's take a moment to reflect. When was the last time someone truly inspired you, not just with their words, but through their actions, their presence, and the way they moved through life? The man who loves you the most doesn't just love you as you are. He loves you enough to inspire the best version of you. He doesn't try to change you, but somehow, just being with him makes you want to grow, evolve, and step into your full potential. That's the magic of his love. Think about how relationships shape us. Every person we spend time with leaves a mark on our lives, whether we realize it or not. Some people drain us, pulling us into negativity or complacency, but others, they lift us up. They challenge us to see the world and ourselves differently. The man who loves you deeply falls into the second category. He's not just a partner, he's a catalyst for your growth. This doesn't mean he's constantly pointing out areas for improvement or trying to mold you into someone you're not. That's not love, that's control. Instead, his influence is subtle, almost effortless. It's in the way he carries himself, the way he encourages you, and the way he believes in you even when you struggle to believe in yourself. Let me paint a picture for you. You're sitting together, sharing a quiet moment after a long day. You mention something you've always wanted to do, start a new hobby, pursue a passion, or take a leap of faith. Instead of brushing it off or giving you a lukewarm response, he leans in, looks you in the eye, and says, "You should do it. I know you can." That simple statement, it plants a seed. It makes you start to believe in possibilities you once dismissed. And when you take that first step, no matter how small, he's right there beside you, cheering you on, celebrating your courage, and reminding you that you're capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. This kind of love is transformative because it's rooted in genuine care and respect. He doesn't push you to change for his benefit or to fit some idealized image. Instead, he sees your potential and gently nudges you toward it, always with your happiness and fulfillment in mind. He's your partner, your teammate, and your biggest supporter. Here's where Stoicism comes into play. Stoic dating isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who complements you, someone who helps you align with your values and pursue your goals. A man who embodies Stoicism understands that personal growth is a lifelong journey, and he's committed to walking that path alongside you. He knows that true strength lies in self-awareness and continuous improvement, and he inspires you to embrace that mindset as well. But let's be real. Growth isn't always easy. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, even painful. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when you feel stuck or overwhelmed. And in those moments, his love becomes your anchor. He doesn't try to fix everything for you or take over your journey. Instead, he stands beside you, offering steady support and unwavering belief in your ability to overcome whatever challenges you face. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how certain people have a way of bringing out the best in you? Maybe it's the way they encourage you to speak your mind, take risks, or step outside your comfort zone. That's what this man does. His love creates an environment where you feel safe to explore, to fail, and to grow. He doesn't just accept your flaws, he helps you see them as opportunities for growth. And it's not just about the big, dramatic changes. Sometimes, the most profound transformations come from the smallest shifts. Maybe he inspires you to start taking better care of yourself, eating healthier, exercising, or practicing mindfulness. Maybe he encourages you to set boundaries, speak up for yourself, or pursue a goal you've been putting off. Whatever it is, his love becomes a source of motivation and empowerment. Here's an example. You're hesitant about going for a promotion at work because you're not sure you're ready. Instead of letting you settle for less, he reminds you of all the times you've risen to the occasion, all the strengths you bring to the table. He doesn't just tell you to go for it, he helps you see why you deserve it. And when you finally muster the courage to take that leap, he's there to celebrate your victory, not because he takes credit for it, but because he's genuinely proud of you. But it's not just about how he inspires you. It's also about how you inspire each other. True love isn't a one-way street. It's a partnership where both people grow and evolve together. He learns from you just as much as you learn from him, and that mutual growth strengthens your bond in ways that words can't fully capture. Now, let's talk about the ripple effect of this kind of love. When you're with someone who inspires positive change in you, it doesn't just affect your relationship, it impacts every area of your life. You start to approach challenges with more confidence, to pursue your dreams with more determination, and to show up as the best version of yourself in all your interactions. His love doesn't just change how you see yourself, it changes how you see the world. So let me ask you, have you experienced this kind of transformative love? A love that makes you feel like you're growing into the person you were always meant to be? If not, don't lose hope. It's out there waiting for you, and when you find it, you'll know, because it won't just feel good, it will make you better. Remember this, the man who loves you the most doesn't just see who you are, he sees who you're becoming. He doesn't hold you back or keep you stagnant. He pushes you forward, challenges you to reach higher, and walks with you every step of the way. That's the kind of love you deserve, one that inspires, uplifts, and transforms. Stay with me, because we're about to dive even deeper into what makes this love so extraordinary. The next part will reveal how he uses every moment, even the smallest ones, to celebrate the essence of who you are. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Let's keep going. 6. He uses conflict to build, not break. Let's talk about conflict, something that every relationship will face, no matter how perfect it may seem from the outside. The truth is, love isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about how you handle it when it comes. And the man who loves you the most, he doesn't let conflict break the connection between you. Instead, he uses it to build something stronger. Think about it. When disagreements arise, how do you usually feel? Defensive? Hurt? Maybe even frustrated that you're not being understood. Those emotions are natural, but the way your partner responds can either fuel the fire or help extinguish it. The man who truly loves you approaches conflict with kindness, patience, and an unwavering respect for who you are. Imagine this. You're in the middle of an argument, tensions are high, and emotions are spilling over. But instead of raising his voice or saying something hurtful, he takes a breath, looks at you with steady eyes, and says, "I want to understand what you're feeling. Let's figure this out together." How does that make you feel? Safe? Valued? Like the issue at hand doesn't have to define the relationship. That's what sets him apart. He doesn't argue to win, he argues to connect. He knows that disagreements are an opportunity to learn more about each other, to understand each other's perspectives, and to strengthen the bond you share. He's not afraid of conflict because he sees it as a tool for growth, not a threat to your relationship. This doesn't mean he's perfect or that he'll never make mistakes. He's human, just like you, and there will be moments when emotions get the best of him. But the difference lies in his willingness to take responsibility. When he realizes he's wrong, he owns it. He apologizes sincerely and works to make things right. And when you're the one who's made a mistake, he doesn't hold it over your head or use it against you. Instead, he forgives and focuses on moving forward together. Let's tie this back to Stoicism and Stoic dating principles for a moment. Stoicism teaches us the importance of emotional control and thoughtful communication, especially in moments of tension. A man who practices Stoicism in relationships doesn't let his emotions dictate his actions. Instead, he approaches conflict with a calm, rational mindset, always seeking solutions rather than escalating the problem. For example, imagine you're upset about something he did. Instead of getting defensive or dismissing your feelings, he listens carefully and asks, "What can I do to make this better?" That simple question shows his commitment to the relationship and his respect for your emotions. It's not about proving who's right or wrong, it's about finding common ground. But his approach to conflict goes beyond just the two of you. He's also mindful of how disagreements affect the overall dynamic of the relationship. He chooses his words carefully, knowing that once they're spoken, they can't be taken back. He focuses on addressing the issue without attacking your character or making you feel small. Even in the heat of the moment, he makes sure you feel loved and respected. Now, let's be real. Conflict can be uncomfortable. It can bring up insecurities, fears, and doubts that we'd rather not face. But with this man, you'll start to see conflict in a new light. Instead of dreading it, you'll come to appreciate it as an opportunity to grow closer. You'll learn to communicate more openly, to express your needs and boundaries, and to work through challenges together. And here's the beauty of it. The way he handles conflict doesn't just affect the relationship, it also influences you. His calm, measured approach inspires you to respond in kind. Over time, you'll find yourself becoming more patient, more understanding, and more confident in your ability to navigate tough conversations. His love doesn't just make you feel secure, it makes you stronger. Let me ask you, how does conflict usually play out in your relationships? Do you feel heard and understood, or do disagreements leave you feeling disconnected and defeated? If it's the latter, take a moment to reflect on what you truly deserve. Because the right partner, the one who loves you the most, will never use conflict as a weapon. He'll use it as a way to deepen your connection and build a relationship that can withstand anything. Before we move on, I want to know how this resonates with you. If you're nodding along thinking, this is exactly what I need in a relationship, then let me know by hitting that like button right now. And don't forget to drop a comment with the words #1 to show your love for this message. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're diving into the kind of insights and stories that transform how we see love, relationships, and ourselves. Join the community and never miss a video because the best is yet to come. Stay with me, because next we're exploring a side of love that goes beyond conflict and challenges. It's about celebrating everything that makes you truly uniquely you. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Let's keep going. 7. He embraces vulnerability with strength. Vulnerability. It's a word that can feel heavy, even intimidating. For many of us, vulnerability is tied to fear of rejection, judgment, or not being enough. But in a truly loving relationship, vulnerability becomes something different. It becomes a bridge, a connection, a way to deepen intimacy and trust. The man who loves you the most understands this, and he's not afraid to embrace vulnerability with strength. Let's start with him. He's not the type to put up walls or wear a mask of unshakable perfection. He knows that true strength doesn't come from pretending to have it all together. It comes from being honest about his feelings, his fears, and his dreams. He lets you see the parts of him that others might not. The moments of doubt, the lingering insecurities, and the weight of the struggles he's faced. Imagine this, you're having a quiet conversation late at night, and he shares a story about a time he felt lost or afraid. He opens up about something he rarely talks about, trusting you with a piece of his soul. In that moment, you realize just how much strength it takes to be that open, that real. And because he's willing to be vulnerable, he creates a space where you feel safe to do the same. This mutual vulnerability transforms your relationship. It's no longer about playing it cool or hiding your imperfections. Instead, it becomes a sanctuary, a place where you can both be fully yourselves without fear of judgment. You can share your deepest fears, your wildest dreams, and your most raw emotions, knowing that they'll be met with love and understanding. But here's the thing. Vulnerability isn't always easy. It requires trust, courage, and a willingness to face the unknown. And the man who loves you the most doesn't take that lightly. He never pressures you to open up before you're ready. Instead, he earns your trust through his consistency, his patience, and his unwavering support. He shows you day by day that he's someone you can rely on. This kind of vulnerability is especially powerful because it creates a bond that goes beyond surface-level attraction. It's not just about the way he makes you laugh or the way he looks at you, it's about the way he sees you. He sees all of you, the beautiful, the messy, the complicated, and he loves you not in spite of it, but because of it. Let's connect this to Stoicism. At first glance, vulnerability might seem at odds with Stoic principles, which emphasize emotional control and resilience. But true Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding and embracing them in a thoughtful way. A man who practices Stoicism knows that vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a form of strength. By being open and honest, he demonstrates his emotional intelligence and his commitment to building a relationship based on trust and authenticity. Now, think about how this plays out in everyday life. Maybe you're having a tough day and you confide in him about something that's been weighing on you. Instead of trying to fix the problem or dismissing your feelings, he listens. He doesn't just hear your words, he feels the emotion behind them. And then he shares something from his own experience, something that reminds you that you're not alone. It's not about one person being the strong one and the other being weak. It's about being strong together. Vulnerability also shows up in the way he handles challenges in your relationship. When conflicts arise, and they will, he doesn't shut down or retreat behind a wall of silence. Instead, he communicates openly and honestly. Even when it's uncomfortable, he's willing to admit when he's wrong, to apologize sincerely, and to share how he's feeling, even if it makes him feel exposed. That willingness to be real, even in difficult moments, is what keeps the relationship strong. But his vulnerability isn't just about sharing his struggles, it's also about sharing his joy, his love, and his gratitude. He doesn't hold back when it comes to expressing how much you mean to him. Whether it's through words, actions, or small gestures, he makes sure you know just how deeply he cares. And in doing so, he encourages you to do the same. Let's pause for a moment. How often do we equate vulnerability with weakness? How many times have we held back our true feelings out of fear of being judged or misunderstood? The man who loves you the most teaches you that vulnerability is actually one of the greatest strengths. It's what allows you to connect on a soul deep level, to build a relationship that's not just strong but unbreakable. So here's a question to reflect on. Are you allowing yourself to be vulnerable in your relationships? Are you with someone who makes you feel safe enough to share your heart, your fears, and your dreams? If not, it might be time to rethink what you're looking for in a partner. Because the right man, the one who truly loves you, will never make you feel like you have to hide any part of yourself. Remember this: vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of trust, of strength, and of a love that's willing to go the distance. The man who loves you the most doesn't just accept your vulnerability, he honors it. He sees it as a gift, a doorway to a deeper connection, and he's willing to meet you there every single time. Stay with me, because next we're diving into the way he reflects his love, not just through words or emotions, but through his actions. This is where everything comes full circle. Let's keep going. 8. He reflects love through his actions. Actions, they speak louder than words, don't they? And the man who loves you the most knows this better than anyone. He doesn't rely on grand declarations or empty promises to show his love. He lets his actions do the talking. Every single thing he does reflects his care, his commitment, and his unwavering devotion to you. Think about this. Love isn't what someone says in a fleeting moment of passion. It's what they do when no one's watching, when there's no applause or recognition. The man who truly loves you shows his love in the way he supports you, respects you, and prioritizes you day in and day out. Imagine this: you've had a stressful day, and all you want to do is curl up and forget the world. Without you even asking, he steps in. He makes you tea, turns on your favorite movie, and sits beside you, not because he feels obligated, but because he genuinely wants to be there for you. That's love in action. His love shows up in the little things, the way he remembers how you take your coffee, the way he texts to check in during a busy day, or the way he makes sure you're warm enough when you're out on a cold evening. These might seem like small gestures, but they add up to something incredibly powerful: the feeling that you're deeply valued and cared for. And let's not forget the big moments. When life throws challenges your way, he's there, standing strong beside you. Whether it's helping you through a career setback, supporting you in chasing your dreams, or simply holding you through a difficult time, his actions show that he's in it for the long haul. He doesn't just say he loves you, he proves it over and over again. This is where Stoicism comes into play. A man who embodies Stoicism approaches love with a sense of purpose and responsibility. He understands that love isn't just about emotions, it's about consistent effort and thoughtful choices. In Stoic dating, actions are everything. A Stoic man knows that his love is best expressed not through extravagant words, but through quiet, meaningful deeds that strengthen your bond. Here's a moment to reflect. How many times have you been with someone who talked a big game but didn't follow through? Someone who promised you the world but couldn't even show up when you needed them? The man who loves you the most is the exact opposite. His words and actions are perfectly aligned, and you never have to wonder if he'll come through for you, because he always does. But here's what makes his actions truly special. They're not just about meeting your needs or solving problems. They're about celebrating you, honoring you, and making you feel seen. He notices the things that make you unique, and he finds ways to show you how much he appreciates them. Maybe he surprises you with your favorite flowers just because, or he plans a date around something you've mentioned loving. Whatever it is, his actions say, I see you, I value you, I love you. And let's not underestimate the power of consistency. Anyone can put in effort for a short time, but the man who truly loves you stays consistent. He shows up for you not just when it's convenient or easy, but every single day. Even when life gets tough or busy, he finds ways to remind you that you're his priority. That level of dedication is rare and priceless. Let's talk about how this makes you feel. When someone shows their love through their actions, it creates a sense of security and trust that words alone can't provide. You don't have to guess where you stand or wonder how they feel. Their actions make it crystal clear. And that clarity, it's a game changer. It allows you to relax, to be yourself, and to fully invest in the relationship without fear or doubt. Now, let me ask you, are you with someone who shows their love through their actions? Someone who backs up their words with consistent effort and care? If not, it's worth asking yourself why. Because the love you deserve, the love that transforms and uplifts, isn't just spoken, it's shown. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've talked about. Love isn't about perfection, grand gestures, or fleeting emotions. It's about honesty, authenticity, connection, growth, and action. The man who loves you the most embodies all of these things. He doesn't just love you in words, he loves you in the way he lives his life with you. If this message resonates with you, if it's opened your eyes to the kind of love you deserve, let me know by hitting that like button right now, and drop a comment with the words #1 to show your support for this journey we're on together. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We're creating a space where love isn't just talked about, it's understood, celebrated, and redefined. Join the community and be part of a movement that's all about embracing real, authentic connections. Subscribe now because the best is yet to come. Stay tuned because we're not just talking about love, we're building it one step at a time. Thank you for being here, and until next time, remember, you are worthy of a love that moves mountains. Let's keep growing together. And there you have it, a journey through the kind of love that isn't just romantic but transformational. The man who loves you the most doesn't just make you feel good, he helps you grow, thrive, and embrace every part of yourself. His love is honest, authentic, and unwavering. It's in his words, yes, but more importantly, it's in his actions, his consistency, and the way he shows up for you every single day. As we wrap this up, let's take a moment to reflect. Love isn't just about finding someone who makes your heart race. It's about finding someone who steadies it, someone who challenges you, supports you, and celebrates you, not just on your best days, but on all the messy, imperfect ones too. That's the kind of love you deserve, and it's out there waiting for you. Now it's your turn. What part of this resonated with you the most? Was it the way he inspires you to grow? The way he handles conflict with respect? Or the way he reflects his love through actions, not just words? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories and insights. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like and drop a comment with the words #1. Your support helps us keep creating content that uplifts and empowers. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join our community. Together, we're redefining what love looks like, making it more authentic, more meaningful, and more aligned with who we are. Subscribe now because there's so much more to explore, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, you are worthy of a love that sees you, honors you, and elevates you. Never settle for anything less. Until next time, take care, stay true to yourself, and keep your heart open to the love you deserve. See you soon.